A couple of years ago, I made this benchtop router table. Small, handy, mobile, and battery operated. Had a fence with a vacuum adjustment for dust collection. I could easily remove it, replace the battery, and remove it to use another project, handheld. Has drawers to store my router bits in it, and also I can clamp it to the table so it doesn't move. It's great. I use it for many projects. It serves its purpose. But now I need a bigger router table or floor model. And that is what's going to be coming up. All the pieces have now been cut to length. That's going to make up the structure, the carcass, as I call it. Everything's been checked off. So now it's a matter of starting to assemble it to get to this stage. Here I'm making sure that the outside panels fit properly before I attach the wooden drawer slides. And here I'm cutting the wooden drawer slides. Because there's 4 panels, 2 left and right outside panels and 2 the inside, I had to measure exactly the position of each drawer slide so it would be even. And you can see I'm putting a piece of wood between the drawer slides and my metal ruler. That is so I have some space and they can slide, as you can see here, back and forth freely. It wouldn't be too tight. I glued them down first and then I secured them with screws. Putting the final touches on the center piece. Making sure it's square And here it is, installed. And I have some scrap wood. I'm testing, make sure the drawer will slide nice and smooth. Here you can see that the box is not attached to the drawer base yet. I was just doing some dry fitting to ensure that the drawers slide in the drawer guides nice and smooth. Those will all be attached and glued down. I clamped some scrap wood on the left and the right side level. And this is where I'm going to put the drawer slides onto to keep them up in place while I drill the holes and attach them. This is the method I use every time I store drawer slides. The easiest way to get this the right size of the bottom of the drawer is just set the box onto some plywood and trace it. And that's exactly what I did here. That way there's no mistakes in measuring. You cut it to size. Put some glue on it. And then you tack it in place with a nail gun, just to hold it in place so it doesn't slide because of the glue. And then you pre-drill the holes so the wood doesn't split on you. And then you put the screws in. now the drawer is installed. I'm checking it so it slides smoothly. You see I have a spacer on the bottom to place the drawer front onto, so it doesn't slide on the structure of the router table. And the drawer front gets tacked into place temporarily with a few nails. And then I'll run some screws into the drawer front from the inside of the drawer. You see right here, I pre-drill the holes. And then I put the screws in to hold the drawer front up. Here, cutting some strips of wood for decorative pieces on the drawer fronts. This really isn't necessary, but I wanted to dress it up a little bit and to test my skills using the router, my little tiny router, benchtop router table. And here, cutting some angles to the strips to make it look a little nicer. Here, preparing to make sure everything fits together. And then, of course, everything needs to be sanded. And then we got to put some varnish on it, some oil to protect the wood. And then we put some glue up the frame, which will then be attached to the drawer front of each drawer. I need to measure the exact location of each hole that needs to be drilled on these handle ends. Piece of scrap wood clamped to the drawer front lets me know exactly where to put and attach the handle. And here, I'm doing the final touches of attaching that framing that I created, that I built. Making sure everything's center, and then it gets tacked on with a nail gun. Now it's time to build the door. That will have some plexiglass in the center of it, so that allows you to see the router from the outside. Here I'm cutting rabbets into the framing that will hold the plexiglass in position. So the pieces for the frame have been cut. Here's how I'm laying the pieces onto some masking tape, painter's tape, and then I put some glue into all the angles. And then what I do is I fold it all up with the tape holding it in place and let it dry overnight. The next morning, I just come out to the shop and take the painter's tape off And then I just have to sand down the edges where some of the glue was squeezed out, and some touch-ups. And then move on to the next step. I had to make some templates because I'm using some European hinges, and these templates will aid me in where to place the hole, where to drill the holes on the router table itself, and of course on the door where the hinges get attached. You'll see the hinges later on in the next step. Here you can see how this template helps me where to place the holes and mark the holes on the actual cabinet. And on the drill bit, you see I have some blue tape. And the edge of the blue tape tells me how deep to drill the hole, so I won't go all the way through. Now it's time for the plexiglass, and as you can see, part of the plexiglass is covering those holes where the hinges go. So I have to cut a piece of the plexiglass out. And here I'm just prepping it, clamping it down, and using a jigsaw to cut out that little arc. Test fit it one more time before I go to the drill press and drill the holes into the plexiglass to attach it to the frame. was really nice. I'm really glad I used these soft close hinges. In other words, it closes the door on its own after a certain point. And it's a perfect fit. So, another success. And because I don't like sanding, I asked for assistance once again, and he was there to help me.